Friday. Give yourself a round of applause. We've made it through another week. What a week it has been. All kinds of things to go over today. We've had Donald Trump came out not once but twice. He did the Davos thing this morning. He talked about the dollar. The Treasury Secretary had to come out for the third day in a row. We got a lot of things to talk about. We had GDP come out. We had durable goods. I mean, all kinds of stuff. We're going to get to it all. Got a great program lined up for you. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. We had a pullback yesterday. We'll talk about that. An opportunity to get into this market because let's face it, I think this is the third. I guess I'll call them pullbacks. You know, where there's been some really just profit taking since the tax cuts. This is only the third one, and they've all ended up the same way. They last about a day, maybe two. I know if you go out to our website, you'll see that gold's up, but I'm going to tell you it's down. We'll get to all of that, but we want to tell you we've actually been adding all sorts of different ways for you to be able to hear us. Matter of fact, it doesn't matter. You know, used to be way back in the day. Used to be if you weren't in Colorado, you couldn't get us. Either, or, you know, well, and I guess we were on the shortwave as well. You know, for the few people that listen that way.
Did they have any bootleg cassettes rolling around?
Well, you know what's so funny? Yes, there were some bootleg cassettes.
Is that right?
The program. I don't have any of those, but some of our customers, you know, the real wackos, right? They would record this stuff on the old cassettes, and then of course we had the live stream with the mothership up there in KHNC, and you could go to the website and you could listen to it there, and then eventually we got to the podcasting, but now. Ramon, we're all over the place now.
That we are, my good man. That we are.
So you were telling me though, one of our main places is SoundCloud.
Yes,
and they're struggling. I guess they're going to go out of business or something to that effect.
Well, I actually probably about I guess about 6 months ago, I put an article up about the. SoundCloud losing money.
They were having,
yeah. So the company-wide Salem Radio, they've decided to, you know, before everything kind of falls apart there, they went ahead and jumped over to a new location to put the podcast up on, which is Omni Studio. So we'll eventually have that link up on the main page. But if you follow us on, and you should follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all those other locations, I've been putting up the new location on those as well. Now, you can get it on Facebook as usual. You can get it on YouTube.
So our show every day it's posted to Facebook.
Correct.
So you can listen to the show on Facebook. We post it to Twitter.
Yep, put the link on Twitter.
The link on Twitter. Where else are we?
You can subscribe on iTunes to the Patriot Radio News Hour. You want to go there and subscribe and like us?
Is that a fee? I don't know. I don't get the money for it.
Oh, we won't talk about who's getting the money. But anyway, no, it's free. It's free. Yeah, it's absolutely free. Just subscribe if you're on iTunes. And also, just as a couple days ago with this new setup as well, able to get it on Google Play. So if you have, you can also listen to us on Google Play as well. So there's all kinds of fantastic ways.
Excuse.
No excuse at all.
No excuse. It doesn't matter where you live. You can live anywhere in the world, and there's, I don't know, I'm trying to keep track of it. It sounds like almost a half a dozen different ways for you to hear this show.
And I'm working on Stitcher as well, so hopefully I can get that done too. So, yeah. And
I don't know what that even is.
You know, anything from cassettes to, you know, right on your mobile phone. We'll get you out there.
We got you covered. All right. Hey,
yes, indeed.
Simone.
I'm going to go back to sleep now.
All right, buddy. Just let that get out there. So if you want to, however you want to listen, we're going to get it covered. If you see a shift in our podcast, which is going to happen, on our website because SoundCloud's going to be no more but it'll just be picked up by another company that's very similar. So hopefully that won't cause too much heartache for anybody. But we're out there, all kinds of ways to listen to this show and get people involved. Whether you don't have to just live on the Front Range or just live in Phoenix. Now you can find us anywhere all over the world through all of those I don't even know. I guess the new media, the way things are going. That's how you get it done. And then, of course, how it really works is how it needs to work is after you listen, you actually call and place an order. That's what actually how this show has been doing it now for over 22 years at 800-951-0592. I just want to a little program announcement. There will be no show on Monday, so I have something I need to take care of. So I won't be here on Monday. And obviously, with it just being me, these things happen from time to time. So on Monday, you'll rehear this show. I will say this: I'm looking for a partner. So if you're interested, I figured before I go out and find somebody I don't know, this would be somebody that would want to be involved with us and work with us and do those things. If you have an interest in maybe doing that, this would be an equity position here at Patriot. Give us a call, 800-951-0592. You don't have to do the radio, but that would be nice. Having someone in Colorado would be nice as well. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break.
And hide out in the cellar. By now the fighting will be close at
hiding out in the cellar. So already we've had someone call about my comments about taking on a partner or two. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of spitballing. Wendy called. You barely work now as it is. So if you're interested in that, give us a call here at 800-951-0592. We'll just kind of talk about it. See what will happen. It would be really cool to have somebody up in Colorado as well, so we could have a better presence up there. But nonetheless, just something I've been kicking around because it's hard every day all by myself. Maybe someone else just to talk to. You have to be my friend by default, something like that. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. Where to start? So after we got off the air yesterday and gold, remember, and I was telling you, hey, I think gold's going to keep rallying all through the day, which it did. Got up to 1365, and then the gold market closes. And I've told this story a bunch of times. So the gold market closes in New York. So the market closes in New York. I think it's like 2 o'clock, and then the market is still open in what we call electronic trading for an hour, and then it's closed for 1 hour a day. So gold, essentially, you can trade gold or silver 23 hours a day. But in New York, it closes, and then you have an hour of electronic trading. Yesterday, gold closed at $1,363. And then Donald Trump, who had landed in Davos, gave an interview on CNBC, the billionaire channels, about the dollar thing, right? As we know, we've talked about the last several days, right? The Treasury Secretary, the Commerce Secretary, right? They're all out there, and really what I would say is truth-telling. Hey, listen, right now we need the dollar to go down, right? We got to, if we're going to, we got this thing we want to do, and we want the dollar to go down, and all of us know, and I was kind of saying, listen, Donald Trump's been, he campaigned on weak dollar, right? That's what he's been adamant about how the dollar needed to decline. Yesterday came out and said the words, at least for the first time that I recall, he said the word strong dollar. And that had all the computers, all the machines took off. At one point, gold was down about $20. And we got all the way down to like the 1340 range, and then as people kind of read into what he said, it's back. And right, like, as an example, so right now gold's $1,352. So we're about where we were on Wednesday. But here's what he said. He says the dollar is going to get stronger and stronger, and ultimately I want to see a strong dollar. And the ultimately part of it is kind of what had everybody trying to understand what they want. That we're not saying that we want the dollar to be weak forever. And ultimately, yes, we'd like to see a strong dollar. And of course, Trump he's a cheerleader president, right? This is what he's done. By the way, he did a speech in Davos this morning. None of it having to do with the dollar, but I really thought he did a good job. I like to give him credit when he did, because, you never know with Donald, right? Sometimes he just goes off the rails, and I haven't seen any tweets yet. But his actual speech in Davos, it was on point, really reiterating that the United States wants better trade deals. I mean, just kind of, things that we've all talked about and all wanted. And part of that is obviously the dollar needs to fall, at least in the short term. I don't know what short term is. A decade is what we're going to get, if not longer. But the fact that, hey, we'd love a strong dollar. Of course we would. Who wouldn't? Right? We would love it. That would be wonderful. I mean, wouldn't that be fantastic? The problem is we've taken away our ability to have one. As an example, so just looking at the dollar index today, the dollar index yesterday bottomed at 88.43. Got all the way back up to 89.5. Right now, it's sitting right at 80. It's down 40 basis points again this morning, 89.04. So I'm going to tell you that gold is down $11 at $13.52. If you go out to our website, it's going to say gold's up, I don't know, $3 or $4. And that just has to do with that hour of electronic trading. But that was really what kind of drove the market. Donald Trump saying, hey, listen, ultimately, of course we want a strong dollar. Who doesn't? Whether we actually have the ability to get one is the problem. And Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin had to come back out on TV. This is the third day in a row. He probably is like, man, I'm never going to say anything about a weak dollar ever again. I made the comment 2 days ago in a press conference in the morning. What I said was actually very even-handed and consistent with what I have said before. This is him this morning. But he did add one little thing to it. Long term, we want a strong dollar. Long term, we would like to have a strong dollar. However, he still reiterated that, hey, in the short term, apparently we want the other. And I think that's what everyone's kind of gathering. Of course, I don't know if it's news or not. I do know this, that Donald gone the other way, we would be probably talking a gold close to 1,400, but I think it's going to get there anyway, because you see what the dollar is now doing this morning, which is kind of like, okay, yeah, we got all excited, but everybody kind of knows the direction that things need to head. Then we got GDP data this morning. So, the president was actually, I think, he was given his little Davos speech where he stayed on message, talked about America being open for business, and it's not like we were closed. But, okay, I get it, right? Hey, we want, he's trying to get companies to come to America, hire Americans, do all that stuff, right? Like I said, he's trying to cheerlead it all. The GDP numbers for the fourth quarter came out, and everyone was, we wanted 3%. We got 2.6. So, yes, 3% is going to be hard. It just is, because with the big problem when you looked at the numbers themselves, right, we had the trade deficit, and always hurts us in the fourth quarter, right? The holiday stuff and all that stuff has a lot to do with, we run into these horrible trade imbalances. The consumer was strong in the fourth quarter. The problem, though, was they depleted their savings to do it. So now we're the decline in the savings rate. There was 100, and this is a pretty big drop in a quarter. $100 billion drop. The savings rate down to 2.6%. And a year ago, that number was close to 5. So we'll have to see what happens in the first quarter this year. Now, remember, the tax cuts hadn't happened yet, but we did get all of the how do I want to say it? Man, I can't. The word just. I'm drawing a blank. See, that's why I need the day off. The regulations, right? All of the, we've gotten a little boost from the elimination of regulation. In his speech, Trump said they've eliminated, for every one new regulation, they've eliminated 22. Now, hopefully the right ones, because you eliminate the wrong ones and then bad things happen. Part of the reason why there's regulation, there's a reason for them. And he did mention that, hey, that can't be the norm, but we want to allow people to do business here and trying to get businesses to hire Americans and create jobs and do all of those things. So fourth quarter GDP 2.6, for the year 2.3, which is not great, but it beats what it was. Hey, it beats what it was last year, right? So it's going in the right direction. But everybody, and I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people are like, I don't know if it's going to be able to, are we going to be able to get that? I will say this. If 2.6, if that ended up being the number, say, this year, we're in big trouble. And I don't mean that, to try to scare anybody or anything like that. It'd be horrific. The debts would be astronomical. I'm hoping we get something closer to 4, and we're going to get it by inflation. That's just what I think is going to happen. And if we don't, it's not going to be good. So let's hope it gets better. It wasn't horrible. 2.6 for the fourth quarter. The year number was 2.3, and I think last year was like 1.6. Then we had durable goods. This one also missed. This one a little more concerning on the miss there. The headline number was really good, but then you gotta take Boeing out, right? Commercial aircraft, because you never know when they book a deal. It skews all the numbers. So you got to look at the number X aircraft. So when you take X aircraft out, they were hoping for 1%. The number came in at 0.6. So that was disappointing, right? Because we were expecting all of these businesses to, we're getting the, hey, everyone's going back to work and blah, 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 and we thought we'd see it there. We didn't. And all the other, X-Defense missed. They pretty much missed all across the board. I don't know, right? And that number fluctuates here and there, but it wasn't. People weren't adding to inventories. That's kind of what it says to me, right? Hey, we had a good. The consumer spent a lot, but we're not adding. We still got plenty of stuff in the back room. So durable goods, was less than expected. I think of the two numbers, even, like I said, GDP, they wanted 3. It came in at 2.6. And then durable goods, they were looking for 1%, and it came in, I think it was 0.6 or 0.7. I'm just a little sideways today. But both of them missed. I thought the GDP number, that was a better miss. The reason why I say it was better was the consumer was good, which I liked. I didn't like the savings. That was bad. Savings rate was bad, and then the trade deficit killed us. Right? It was horrible, right? And we ran record deficits in 2017, which is a negative. And you got to think about that. That's wealth leaving the country. And wealth has left this country every single year for 43 years in a row. Think about that. 43 years, it may even be 44 years in a row of wealth leaving the United States. In 2017 was one of the biggest ones, and then and that took away a couple of tenths away from GDP. So if our trade deficit was a little better, we could have been at like a 2.8. But the durable goods number was a bigger miss, and it has me a little more worried because are we just getting fluff? We'll have to wait and see. Right now we got the tax cuts. We'll see what businesses ultimately, what they really do. I'm going to tell you what I'm worried about with our cheerleader president when we get back.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily broadcast from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, a national volunteer organization founded by Phyllis Schlafly and continuing to uphold her legacy by opposing radical feminism and representing a traditional conservative perspective in our nation's capital. Now from the Phyllis Schlafly Center studios, here's Ryan Haidt.
Our economy depends heavily on new inventions to grow because cheap labor will always be available in other countries. Our competitors, such as China, realize how important innovation is, and they force American companies to share those secrets of our inventions with them. The result has been devastating to the real elements of economic growth, jobs and wages. Neither has improved in years. Only 63% of potential workers are actually working in the United States. This labor participation rate is near its 38-year record low set during the Obama administration. Likewise, real wages actually decreased in October, and over the past year, wages have barely kept up with inflation. This is in sharp contrast with nearly 2 decades ago, when hourly pay was increasing at a much healthier rate of 4%. When the governor of Virginia issues a press release to brag about a company in his state creating merely 15 new jobs, as Democrat Governor Terry McAuliffe did last fall, it underscores how scarce good jobs are. Pandering to lobbyists of big corporations, as Congress does, will not help. The American economy grew fastest when the incentives of our unique patent system existed for small inventors. Buoyed by the inventions of Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell, our economy boomed in the late 1800s. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor asked rhetorically during oral arguments in the Oil States versus Green's Energy patent case, "If I own something, how can a government agency take that right away without due process of law at all? Isn't that the whole idea of Article 3, that only a court can adjudicate that issue?" Indeed. And it is ironic that while Congress talks about boosting our economy with a tax bill, it is actually the Supreme Court that may do more for job and wage growth if it rules in favor of small inventors in the oil states case. Congress seems uninterested in helping small investors and small business, but the court just might.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. American ingenuity should be celebrated and rewarded. Individual inventors should be protected from any threat, foreign or domestic, that would steal their patents and profits. At phyllisschlafly.com, we promise to stand up for those who work hard, innovate, and dream big. If that's you, join us at phyllisschlafly.com. And thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
1-800-951-0592. So the president was out twice. Once on CNBC, once in the meeting in Davos. One to, I guess, put the rest of the world who was very upset with the Treasury Secretary and the Commerce Secretary. He gave the company line, hey, eventually we want a strong dollar. Who doesn't? And I think today I'm going to give credit to the market because the dollar is falling and falling pretty good again. Matter of fact, just broke back below 89 because I think they get it, right? They understand, okay, we get it. Of course, we love a strong dollar, but the realities are that's not going to be the case. And then his meeting in Davos, it was a cheerleader. I liked it. I thought his speech was good. He was on point. Wants business done in America, right? Who doesn't like that? Hello. By fear, especially with the GDP number and the durable goods number, I'm like, not a great start if it doesn't materialize. And we don't get, 4%, right? Hopefully we don't get 2.6. I don't even want to. If we do, it's going to be trouble, right? And then what are we going to be stuck? We're going to get somebody even worse than Bernie Sanders, right? Someone even farther left than that. That's my fear, right? Of the cheerleading of the stock market and all of this other stuff. I get it. Right, he's trying to overplay the. I saw it was Fox this morning. They were arguing back and forth about these pay raises, and actually not pay raises. I guess mostly their bonuses, a couple of pay raises, but mostly these one-time bonus things. And someone now says it's up to 3 million people. There's 158 million workers. Just if 10%, you'd have to get to 15, almost 16 million getting a raise or a bonus or something. But they say the numbers now at 3 million are getting something. Home Depot yesterday, and I don't mean to trash Home Depot. Hey, I'd take a one-time deal of $200 or $300, but I was hoping for more, right? Because I know that $200 or $300 or $400, that's not going to be enough to get us to where we need to go. But that's kind of where we sit today. So I think we're done with Steve Mnuchin for a while. At least I hope so. He's probably I've talked more about him in the last 3 days than I have the whole time he's been the Treasury Secretary. It'll be interesting, though. He did take some swipes at China, not directly, didn't mention names. Right, so he didn't name names, but he just let it be known what they're looking for, and we'll have to see what happens next in that front. Got an item today. We don't really sell a lot of these. They're Morgan dollars. So when you talk about silver, the Morgan dollar, and the reason why is I saw a commercial on one of the billionaire channels, and this company advertising for Morgan dollars, and please don't buy stuff on TV. That's all I'm going to say. Just please don't. Right? You're going to get taken, and plus they call you to death. I mean, it's going to be a horrible experience. But I think this is an item where we can drive the market. And what I mean by that is there's not a lot of them. And if we sell these the way I'm hoping to, we'll actually drive the price. We have 150 rolls. Okay, that would be 3 full bags, by the way, if you wanted to know. But these are AU, which is almost uncirculated peace dollars. So when you talk about our peace dollars, Morgan dollars, I apologize. AU pre-1921 Morgan dollars. And why is pre-1921 important? The peace dollar was 1878 to 1921. 1921, they minted the you-know-what out. They minted millions of them. And then the next year, they went to the peace dollar. So all the dates outside of the 21 all carry premiums. So these are the hardest to get, the pre-1921 Morgan dollars, and these are in AU condition, which means they're fantastic. Okay, and I actually we were on the phone with our supplier this morning, and he was, we were talking about it back and forth about what can we do, how much are they? They're expensive, but he was telling me, hey, listen, there's not a lot of this stuff out there. If you're able to sell through them, you'll drive the price all by yourself. There's $725 for the roll. There's 20 of them in a roll. That is $36.25, which is puts you right there. We're like right there is one of as one of the cheapest prices in the entire country. The TV guys would sell these things for like $75, $80. There's $725 for AU pre-1921 peace dollars. You are not, and I will say this is not for the silver content. So, here at Patriot, a lot of the 99% of the things we sell, it's for the gold or the silver content. This is something different. The peace dollars, especially, or the Morgan dollars, especially the graded ones, right? We've seen, over the last 3 months, there's been a big jump in the price of the 65s, 4s, 3s. There's really not anything lower than. There's not 61s or 62 peace or Morgan or peace dollars really out there. Morgan dollars out there because, and I don't know why, because normally it's either, hey, if it's not going to grade at least 63, you don't grade them. So they all end up in this AU stuff. $725 a roll. We'll see what happens. There is 150 rolls, which equates to 3,000 AU Morgan pre-1921 silver dollars, which would right now would be about probably 25% of all of the supply in the world that's out there right now. The fact that it's all in one place, which has normally been the hard part. Usually, hey, I've got 10 rolls. This wholesaler's got 8 rolls. This guy's got maybe a bag. To have it all in one place is rare. Let's see what we can do. I really think this is an item that could easily be $40, $45 if the demand is there. So $725 pre-1921 AU Morgan dollars. All right, I like it. Off to a good start. AU pre-1921 Morgan dollars, $725. 800-951-0592. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I want to. I really think this is something that is we're going to drive this market here. If you buy 10 rolls or more, I'll throw in the shipping. How about that? Yeah. Pre-1921 AU Morgan dollars at $725 a roll, 800-951-0592. First of all, 2 things. One, these are hard to get. There's just not that many. 2, for whatever reason, the pre-21 Morgans are hot again. I don't know why. Maybe I might get. We had a good idea, right? Some big guys with some deep pockets are cornering the market. to have this many roles in one place that's really hard to do. We've got that opportunity today. Take the time. Like I said, this is more about rarity. That we don't do a lot of this, but this is one of these opportunities. Hey, it's worth having. And these things, and this is straight from the executive vice president. This of these guys are, by the way, they're the largest wholesaler in the entire world. They have offices all over the globe. And he was saying they're just awesome. So take a look at them. Pre-1921 AUs, Morgan silver dollars, $725 at 800-951-0592. Moody's, okay, so the rating agencies. Tax overhaul will have limited effect on U.S. economy. And again, so we had GDP fourth quarter, we had durable goods come out this morning, and now Moody's is out. Companies are more likely to reward shareholders than invest in growth. The tax cut for the rich will not trickle down, according to Moody's. I hope that's not true. But really, when I think about what we do know, right? How long has it been since Wall Street's ever really been representative of what Main Street is? And we gave them a big reward here, right? Really, we gave a tax cut to Wall Street, and somehow that was going to help Main Street, but that hasn't been the case in a long time. Moody's says that on the credit impact, that companies are unlikely to spend their tax savings on growth initiatives. And they said that the credit impact on the tax bill published Thursday. So they finally got, because these things are thousands of pages, right? So it got made public yesterday, which warns of a number of negative consequences for federal, local, utility, and homeowner debt. By the way, if I get to it, some of the states, specifically California, New York, the ones that were the losers, apparently they can change some laws and add $154 billion back onto the federal deficit, which I think is going to happen. But we'll get to that on Tuesday. If I remember, I'll get to it on Tuesday. But I think this is part of what is in what Moody's is warning about. We do not expect a meaningful boost to business investment because the United States non-financial companies, by the way, this bill was a big win for banks, non-financial companies will prioritize share buybacks. Again, you think about it, that's what we saw the last time. Share buybacks, M&A, right? So that's merger acquisitions, which is actually a job loser, and paying down existing debt. Much of the tax cuts for individuals goes to the higher earners, and it really does. If you're one of the top 5%ers in your state, you do real well, except for the blue ones, but and are less likely to spend it on current consumption. More than 3/4 of the individual tax cuts will go to people who earn more than $200,000 in taxable income. The tax bill will significantly reduce the tax intake of the federal government in the scope of 1% of GDP on average. That's what is going to be lost, I guess, in federal revenue. As a result of legislation, we expect deficits to widen faster than under our previous baseline projections, resulting in faster accumulation of federal debt, a component of general government debt as well, Wider deficits and higher borrowing costs will need to come as the Federal Reserve tries to normalize rates. This will increase the effective cost of debt for the government faster than we previously expected, accelerating deterioration in debt affordability. So this is out of Moody's today, saying, you know what, before we saw the bill, we took our best guess at what the debts were going to do. Now that it's been published, we've got to go back. It's actually worse than what we thought. State and local government will also have a very hard time over losing the SALT reduction. So overall, Moody's isn't on board. I don't know. Let's hope the president can trump Moody's, right? 800-951-0592. AU pre-21 Morgan, 7 1/4. We'll be back for the final segment of the week. Final segment on a Friday. Sears bankruptcy may be coming a lot sooner. Well, I don't know about a lot sooner, but sooner rather than later. They close. There's another 100 stores closing, but their stock price has fallen 30% since Tuesday. They don't get a benefit from the tax cut because they don't have profits. and so down to $2. I think their stock's trading at $2.50. So we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like sometime this year for certain, and maybe a little sooner. Maybe a lot sooner instead of the end of the year. Maybe at the beginning of the year. Toys R Us closing 180 stores. Let's face it, the retail carnage continues out there. And then American Airlines came out yesterday, said, $65 oil, time for airline prices to start rising, saying that they just can't make money with oil prices this high. So if you're going to take a flight, book them now before American says fares are too low and oil prices are too high. That makes sense, right? Obviously, all of that makes sense. So 800-951-0592. Remember, we will not this show will repeat Monday as well. I have an engagement that I have to be at. Right now, gold's $13.52. I'm going to tell you it's down 11. Kitco's going to say it's up 4 or 5. It doesn't really matter. $13.52. Silver's at $17.41. Today's special, we had pre-1921 Morgan dollars AUs. We had 150 rolls left, but we've been selling them. So if you want to get in, they're $725 a roll. You're not going to be disappointed. They're going to be awesome. And I really think there's an opportunity here if we sell through these and we stay on it, that we're going to drive the market on these items. I think we could easily see $40 on these at 800-951-0592. For those of you that want to buy some gold on this pullback, I'm with you. I've got U.S. $10 Liberties at $6.95, so you can save yourself some money today on the pullback there as well. So a U.S. $10 Liberty, that's a $20 savings at $6.95 to go along with the AU pre-1921 Morgan rolls at $7 1/4. If you buy 10 rolls or more of the Morgans, I'm going to throw in the shipping at 800-951-0592. And remember, catch us all. We are everywhere now, right? You can listen to us on Google. You can listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to us on Facebook and Twitter and all these other places. So spread the word around, and we will be back. Right? Well, this show will repeat again on Monday, and then we will be. I will be back on Tuesday. And if we have the Morgan roll, we'll keep selling them. at 7.25 at 800-951-0592. And we'll just have to see, how everyone reacts to what happened in Davos. Like I said, at least for me, thought the president did a pretty good job there. We'll have to see what happens. 800-951-0592. Have a great weekend out there, and I'll be back on Tuesday.
This was a paid program and was provided for informational purposes only.